Sif's blood. Barely survived that encounter. I'll bring you a new transmission. Vode An.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Vode An number 8, this is episode 3, right? Of Before the Dark Times,
Yeah, episode 3.
Yep, which is a little mini series that we're doing right now. We're kind of playing catch up with because we're as you guys know, on the Clone Wars timeline, we're about to get into the Republic comics, but me and Ken have not read any of the previous because Republic Comics is a long series. So we're playing catch up right now. We're on the second story arc of the 1998 Star Wars run, which is issues I believe 7 through 12 of 7 through 12 of that series. It's written by Tim Truman. Pencils were done by 4 different people: Tom Rainey, Rod Pereira, Rick Leonardi, and Al Rio. I don't know who any of those dudes are. But let's get into our thoughts. So, Tidus, what are your thoughts, man?
You you want my thoughts? All right. Oh well. I guess I'll go first then.
Okay, wait. I probably should give a little summary of it.
Yeah, quick. like we should give a synopsis first.
Yeah, let's do that. I always forget that, but basically, this takes place way after Prelude, not way after, but long enough after Prelude to Rebellion. This is shortly after Phantom Menace. I would estimate maybe a few months. I don't exactly know. Tidus, do you know the exact time frame?
I think you're on the money. It probably is about like a few months or a few weeks.
Yeah, so it's a little bit of a time jump there. It's still following Ki-Adi-Mundi. Of course, he's on the cover of the trade paperback. They've heard of, there's this conflict going on Tatooine right now between Tuskens and the locals. Tuskens have attacked Anchorhead, and it was Anchorhead, right, at the beginning? I think it was Anchorhead, right?
Yes, the little fucking small town where a lot of the traders are at. That was Anchorhead.
Yeah. So, and they hear of this rumor of this Jedi that's there, the Tusken Jedi. So, the Jedi, with their intelligence, end up discovering that it's a Jedi they know very well named Sharad Het, who was a relatively famous Jedi. He left the Order after his homeworld was destroyed, and he ended up on Tatooine. He was taken in by the Tuskens, and he's a very powerful Jedi, very strong Jedi. And because the Jedi sense an upcoming conflict, which of course we know of as the Clone Wars, they want to get as much Jedi as they can, or not just recruit, but like bring back Jedi who left the Order. So they send Ki-Adi-Mundi to Tatooine because in Prelude to Rebellion he went to Tatooine. So they send him there to kind of recruit him. Meanwhile, Aura Singh, is this her first comic introduction?
Yes, this is her first appearance-wise. Her first EU comic appearance.
Yeah, so it's her first comic appearance. Technically, obviously, her first appearance was Phantom Menace, but this is her first comic appearance. But she's hunting both of them. Well, she's hunting Sharad, and then she sees Ki-Adi-Mundi, who she recognizes, and she's hunting him too. Ki ends up finding him, discovering that he has a son named Sharad Het, and who we all know very well, of course. He learns about what Sharad's been up to and the Tuskens and all this. He lives among them for a while. And the comic ends up ending with sort of a kind of like a gang war between Gardula the Hutt and the Tuscans. Orsing ends up shooting Sharad Het, or what's the word I'm looking for? Um, fatally shoots him. That's the word. And that's when, and of course, the Tuscan tribe is destroyed, and that's when Key's like, okay, Sharad, you want to be my Padawan? And Sharad says yes. He takes his father's lightsaber and, of course, his own lightsaber, because Sharad's been training his son to be a Jedi this whole time. He's like probably 14 years old, 13 maybe. He's kind of a young kid. At least maybe my age. Maybe he's way off, or older, younger. I don't know, but in that age range. And Key says, Sharad says yes, takes his father's lightsaber and the lightsaber he made, and that's how the story ends. So, Tidus, now, what are your thoughts?
I do want to say before I do give my thoughts about how Sharad dies. His death isn't by like shot. He gets impaled by her lightsaber. He does get shot earlier. He gets knocked off like his little stupid bantha, but he's not like terribly wounded from it, but he does get impaled. In any case, I thought that the comic, revisiting it from like let me try to think. I think I had first read it maybe 4 years ago. I think it was 4 years ago. And I don't know, man. It's like the comic I think is pretty decent at times, but it's like at some points it's kind of hard to take it seriously. I think one of my biggest problems with it tonally is kind of like the different artists. It's like there's like a really good artist on that first issue or the second one, I think. And then it like switched to like this really stylized cartoony one on the second one. And I think it like that's the one that opens up with Orsing like using the force to beat some Trandoshan's head over with like a frying pan. Like I was dying laughing at that shit, bro. It's like I don't know. When I just revisiting these Republic comics in general, like I can't tell if like they're being dead ass or like serious, because it's like I don't know. There's a tonal disconnect there. In any case, I thought that Ki-Adi-Mundi, character wise, he's about the same as a Prude or Rebellion. He's not like totally the center. I think the focal point of the story really, and I mean, you and Ken probably already noticed. I mean, people watching our brand, it's Sharad Het, and I think it's interesting how he is a character that stepped away from the Jedi Order because he felt like they was disconnected from his family. And when I was doing some research on Sharad Het again, because I haven't touched this in so long, I thought that Sharad Het was like part of the Lost 20. I made a mistake though, because I realized that the Lost 20 only consisted of Jedi Masters. Sharad Het was only a knight. But I think that his story though is kind of like, it's still like the similar theme, or it's like emblematic of like what the Lost 20 was all about, kind of. So I don't see issue of like kind of like slotting him. He's like a pseudo Lost 20, I guess. But I don't know, it's like, and it's also his reputation is kind of weird. It's like, he's like this big badass, kind of like crusader, like hero across the Republic and like the Outer Rim worlds and all this. And I don't know, it's kind of weird how like his legacy doesn't really have that much ripple effects in the EU outside of literally his son Asherad. But it's like Sharad himself is never like really addressed. I think the Kenobi novel is one of the last pieces of media that actually talks about him some capacity, because they mentioned that like after his death it left like a vacuum in Tatooine, I believe. It was either that or when Asherad came back and he tried being a war chief. I don't know. I don't know when the Kenobi novel is set from that and the Legacy comic flashback where Asherad comes back to Tatooine. You know what I'm talking about?
And Legacy.
Yeah, and the Legacy comics, like y'all
Yeah, I
remember
remember that.
talking about like the
Yeah.
flashback. It's like I don't know. I don't know if that's before or after Kenobi novel. I just know that they bring up Sherrod Head at least once in that book. And I don't know. I do want to say like a niche little character reference they had in the comic series was this guy named Anka the Bandit, which I don't know if you two are familiar with who that is, but like Anka the Bandit was like this character I think Kevin J. Anderson made with Ralph. It wasn't with Ralph McQuarrie, but it was a character that he had introduced in the Illustrated Stars universe, the art book with Ralph McQuarrie's art.
Mhm.
And Anka the Bandit was basically like this ruthless tyrant that kind of shaped Tatooine's landscape 500 years before the films began. And Jabba's palace actually first belonged to him. It was Anka the Bandit's palace before Jabba. But he never really had like he never had like a presence in any story. Like we don't even know what he really looks like. But this comic it does give the first spoken account of him because he's saying that in regards to the Tuscans, or it's not regards to the Tuscans, but like in I think issue 4 or 5, it's just panning scenes of the Tuscans, Aurra Sing, and Kiadi Mooney trying to adjust to the lifestyle of Tatooine. And his Anka the Bandit's memoir saying that, you know, the people of Tatooine are inherently good, noble people, but their methods are cruel or brutal because the people of the planet only reflect the world itself. Like Tatooine is a desert, brutal, cruel world. So the Tuscans are only doing what the world demands of it to survive. And Aurra Sing paralleled that too because if we go back to her story and or song, she became, a ruthless bounty hunter as a result of her training. I mean, like she had no life. I mean, the Jedi abandoned her. She internalized it. So it's kind of like she embraced something harsher, something cruel to kind of like survive. So I thought that was like a pretty well written scene in the comic. But I don't know. It's like there's some stuff that was kind of missing to me. It's like I think that the honor and ethics of the Tuscans was kind of flip floppy because on one account, they don't mind committing like murder on people or raiding them, but then like Sherrod comes in and he's like trying to enforce like this sense. So he's trying to temper justice with like being a Tuscan, and he tries to tempering being a Jedi with being a Tuscan, and
Right.
I just think it's kind of like two incompatible like philosophies. I mean, like being a Tuscan by the comics logic is like embracing like this cruel nomadic lifestyle because you're trying to survive like this barren world. But being a Jedi is like, being compassionate and being courageous, like, having a big heart. And you could argue maybe he has a big heart for like the Tuscans and his son, but it's like he's still endangering a lot of people. It's like, it's not, he doesn't, I don't see how you could simultaneously be a Jedi and a Tuscan. Um, so I forgot what I was gonna say. It's like because there's a scene in the comic I think where it's like he gets mad at one of his men because they shoot or try to attack a woman, and like he cuts off their hand. I think that's at the very beginning because that's when they find out he has a lightsaber. And I'm just kind of thinking about it. It's like why do you draw the line at women and children? I mean, like you have no problem with like committing raids and attacks that meet the necessities of the tribe. So like why be moral for like this one instance? And that's why I kind of understand Kiadi Mooney's like confusion in the story too, because I'm like, man, it's like this shit doesn't make sense. It's like, how can you be cruel and a Jedi at the same time? I don't know. It's like in Karen Travis's books where it's like being Mandalorian, or I guess like even Tar Vizsla, like being Mandalorian and being a Jedi, and it's just is ideologically incompatible. I feel like. Um,
It is. I honestly think
mm,
Mundi having that confusion was intentional because,
mm.
well, to be honest with you, I think Sherrod Head has a little bit of dark side in him. I think that's where A Sherrod gets it from. Um, so I don't know.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, I think that the confusion is justified. I'm not saying it's confused is misplaced. I'm saying like the audience is kind of with chaotic moody because we're just scratching our heads like, now how the fuck is this guy like what he what he claims to preach? Like he says,
Yeah.
well, I haven't changed. I'm a Jedi, and I mean, it's weird because like he really prides like these Jedi sentiments on Astaroth and all that, and he wants Astaroth to do good. I mean, even in his dying breaths, he wants Astaroth not to commit an act of vengeance against Aurra Sing because he says that's not a Jedi way or something along them lines. But it's kind of like it's weird for him to want to uphold being a Jedi and trying to pass down that to his son, while also, like Lance pointed out, having some pretty dark-sided tendencies. So I don't know.
Yeah,
What's up?
I think the way it was written to not make sense.
Right.
Because it was just written for it to be self-contradictory. I mean, I don't
Right.
think. I guess what I'm saying, I don't think it's like a writing flaw. I think it was just meant to be like that. It was meant to not make sense.
Well, I mean that could be it. It could be intentional like that, but it's like I still think there's like place to critique it. Then
Mm-hmm.
because I just saying like some of it does make sense if it's like intentionally confusing, but I think once your whole gimmick is being confusing, you kind of lose like story cohesion. It's like you're kind of losing the audience from being so intentionally like vague. I guess you could say like why he is the way he is, and like the reason he is with Astaroth is because like his whole reason for leaving the Order, he wanted to be closer to family, and maybe he feels like that being a Tuscan, embracing this lifestyle is like the only way he can be close to like his new family. That's probably like my way of like saying it or rationalizing. But I don't know. I guess the last thing I'll say about the comic that's on my mind right now is a much better start than Prelude to Rebellion. Prelude to Rebellion, it was not like a draggy comic. Well, it kind of did drag at times, but it's like the pacing was decent enough. Whereas like flip through it. But with this comic, it's like it's so fun and entertaining to read. Where it's like you blitz through it. Like you could read this in an hour and not feel burnt out.
Right.
I think that
Yeah.
the pacing of this is probably one of his greatest like strengths, just like generally. So I don't know. Also, well, I guess I'll say that for Emissaries of Mouse. I was gonna say something about Ostrad, but I'll have to say that for later. But no, pretty decent comic. Was it as good as 4 years ago? Probably not. Back then I just kind of just like when I would read like these EU comics, I just think, oh wow, man, that was pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, bro wasn't thinking critically about him.
I mean, in a
Bro's
sense,
got those rose tinted glasses on.
well, in a literal sense, yeah. I mean, I wasn't that critical about it. It's just like I was just pleased to read more Star Wars. It's like reading Tales of the Jedi, reading these comics. It's kind of like it was fun. It was just good fun.
Yeah.
Seeing a guy with a fucking dickhead and having kids and Tatooine saying, "Ah, you have a long head," like that shit.
Some Trandoshan getting beat up with a frying pan by
Yeah,
big,
shit
big,
like that.
big aggressive women.
Yeah, like that's just fucking gold, dude. Or like Aurra Sing getting so mad that she takes her anger out on like fucking rats, like Tatooine rats.
They're just slaughtering rats, taking out the trash. Is it just me or does
Aurra
Aurra
Sing is just like us, dude. She's just like us, bro.
Yeah,
just
she's
like
a fiend,
us,
a
but, like,
fiend.
Is it just me or does Aurra Sing have some fiendish expressions throughout this fucking comic?
Dude,
she
she's
got
a
some
fiend,
fiendish
dude.
fucking great. I think the word fiend gets fucking dropped in this comic.
Yes,
too.
they do. I have a screenshot of it. Hold on. Let me pull it up right before I close my thoughts, bro. I gotta get the quote now because I have a screenshot. Hold on, let me see.
There is one. Once I get into my thoughts, there's one fucking funny scene where I was like dying laughing. That I'll describe like once I get to my thoughts, but that shit had me rolling.
You're sure that it was I found it. So it was about Shirai. Said they had a chief leading him, a fiend with eyes like red glass and a conscience cold as a Balmar's bed.
Describing us,
so
dude.
Sherrod Head is
Describing
a
us.
fiend.
Yeah, Sherrod Head literally has the eyes of a fiend.
Yeah, he's a fiend.
He's one of us. One of us.
One of
One
us,
of
one
us,
of
one
us,
of
one
us.
of us, one of us. But it's pretty decent comic. I think that's all I had to say on it. But y'all, one of y'all can go.
Lance,
Well,
you wanna go first?
yeah, I'll go first. I felt this comic was very good. These should have been the first couple of issues of Republic, not Prelude to Rebellion. But yeah, it was great. These are characters that I've heard about forever now, ever since I got to the EU. Of course, I knew who Ace Sherrod was because I've read part of Legacy, so I knew who that was. But it's important to remember that when that reveal happened in Legacy, that was a twist. That was supposed to be a shock. So it's kind of cool to kind of go back and read what he was like as a Jedi, and it's interesting reading it from that perspective of I already know what's going to happen to this character. But it kind of interesting to put myself in the shoe of trying to think. Well, people who didn't know what was going to happen to this character back then. So when the comic came out. So, but I thought it was cool. Strahd Het was a really cool character, even if some of his philosophies were inconsistent with one another. I still liked him a lot. One thing that I've noticed about these older comics, these either pre-Phantom Menace or right when Phantom Menace was coming out or right afterwards, so many Jedi have red lightsabers in these comics. I know we've talked about it before, but it's kind of uncanny how many Jedi have red lightsabers in this. Because I don't remember that at all in like the Bantam era or the Bantam era in the 90s and the 90s Dark Horse era. I don't remember Jedi ever having red lightsabers, or at least not to the degree that they do in this comic. I don't know why that is. And it wasn't just this comic. I know there were like toys of Jedi with red lightsabers. It's weird. I don't know why that was the case. Yeah, of course, it's not a critique or anything of the story. It's just something I noticed. I think and Kiadi has a purple lightsaber. I don't know if it was just my eyes, but his lightsaber is purple, right?
His lightsaber was purple in or Prelude to Rebellion.
Was it?
Yeah.
Shoot, I don't even remember that. But yeah, his lightsaber is purple. It's just weird. All the lightsaber colors are all wrong.
Well, wrong by like modern by modern lens. They're
well,
wrong.
yeah.
But like at first, I mean that was his canon color. I mean, shit, Mace Windu's lightsaber was blue.
That is true. I guess purple is not that big a deal because there were Jedi in the Bantam era that had purple lightsabers. So purple, he really wasn't that big a deal. But red lightsabers, I guess from when I read that series or read that era, because I've read most of the Bantam stuff, as y'all know, and none of those characters, from what I remember, had red lightsabers, other than Dark Jedi or Sith or whatever. So it's just weird. Anyway, moving on from that, it's not that big a deal, like I said. I like the art. I didn't really notice the inconsistency among or it's not inconsistency, but the change in art style. I didn't really notice it until Tidus mentioned it, and then I was flipping through the book. I'm like, oh yeah, there is definitely a change here. But I liked it. I still liked all the artists. I liked all the art in it. The first artist was for sure the best. I will agree with that, Tidus. But I like the art. I thought it was cool. Gardula the Hutt was in this, but she's not in a lot of stories. So I thought that was kind of cool. She had one hell of a freaking army, though. I thought that was
Hell
interesting.
yeah. Shit, y'all watching should read Lance's story on Gardula.
See, that's interesting because I was thinking this took place after Open Seasons. I don't know why. So I was like, wait a minute, this contradicts my whole story. But it doesn't because it takes place way before Open Seasons. and in turn the bounty hunter game. But if you don't know what Tidus is referring to, I wrote a story about Gardula and Nick. I don't know his last name, but the re-expanded project, Tales from the Boonta Eve Classic, which was like a fan fiction anthology about the characters at the Boonta Eve Classic. Mine was about Gardula the Hutt, and my story was kind of a big retcon between the EU Star Wars or EU stories featuring Gardula that established her as a rival to Jabba. Bounty Hunter, which she died in that, supposedly died, and TCW, which not only is she back in TCW, but she also is an ally with Jabba. So my story was kind of seeking to retcon that, and I feel like I did an okay job at trying to fix that. But yeah, she's in this, and she looks just like she does in the movie, which is really cool. But it's we don't really see a lot of stories featuring Gardula, so I thought that was neat. Of course, the Krayt Dragon. It's Tatooine, so anything Tatooine you think of is probably in it. Krayt Dragons are in it. Krayt Dragon Pearls are in it. I mean, it's anytime we go to Tatooine, you gotta have a Krayt Dragon in it, right?
Yeah. Just like KOTOR.
Yeah,
just like the Mandalorian.
Ooh, the Mandalorian. The Midalorian, more like it.
Yeah, like the Krayt Dragon from Mandalorian.
I mean, unironically, that episode of Mandalorian was the best in the whole season. But
yeah,
it wasn't no Krayt Dragon though.
That's a giant lizard.
Yeah, it was a gay dragon.
Yeah, it was a dune. It was a dune sandworm.
You mean like the Hive Lord from Outriders?
Yeah, Tidus is exactly what it was.
I mean, that's what it kind of looked like. It's like,
I mean, it does look like that. Head ass. But yeah, oh, there was a force healing was in this. Ki-Adi-Mundi gets injured and he force heals himself. That's gonna piss all the Rey fans or Rey haters off. I never really mind force healing as long as it's not like because he just healed like he broke his shoulder or something. He just healed it. I don't really mind that. If it's like big things like I don't know a life-threatening injury.
I don't know.
Oh yeah. Well, you don't even need force healing a Disney canon for that. You can just survive it anyway. Ask Sabine Wren. Ask the bitch from the Acolyte, whatever her name was.
Ask being any Disney character in Star Wars can survive.
Don't ask Qui-Gon Jinn though, because somehow he died.
Yeah, that dude, he fucking followed like a long hair. That dude just got stabbed and just doubled over. The only thing that can kill Liam Neeson is a lightsaber.
Yeah, apparently. I don't really know. Ki-Adi-Mundi was a lot better, and I mean, like Tidus said, he was pretty much the same, but I enjoyed reading him. Well, he was put in a situation I felt was more interesting. So, I just really liked it. I really liked Sharad and Sharad. I think they're just really cool characters. That's pretty much all I've got. Orsine was cool. She was kind of. I mean, she played her. Throughout most of the story, she does not play a huge role, but she of course plays a huge role at the end. But it was cool. I mean, I don't really know what else to add to it. It was just a good story. Did its job. There was a character that was introduced at the beginning, though. Her name was the Dark Woman. She was Orsine's first master. Can't wait to. Of course, Trandoshan getting hit with a frying pan was awesome. Probably the best part of the book.
I thought you were gonna say he got hit with a fire hydrant. I was like, damn, his head would be like 5 pieces at that point.
That would have been better.
Yeah, that would be awesomer.
No, I think that's all I've got. Yeah, it was pretty good. Pretty good story. It's True Blue EU.
That was True Blue. It was True Blue. But before Ken gets into his thoughts, I do want to throw out that The Dark Woman was in Prelude to Rebellion, but it was like her when she was young. It's like the lady that went to Syria and found Moody as a kid. They don't ever they don't call her by a name in Prelude to Rebellion, but that is meant to be the Dark Woman because she references meeting him on Syria, I think issue 1 or 2.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Very cool, Kanye. Very cool.
Kim, what'd you think?
I thought this comic was pretty good. I liked it. Unlike Prelude to Rebellion, where like that comic takes a few issues to pick up speed, this thing is like a roller coaster from beginning to end. It didn't feel like shit lagged. It didn't feel like anything was slowing down or speeding up. It just was one big race, just start to finish. As for the art, I did notice like from issue to issue, just immediate change in art. I can tell, but I didn't mind it too much. There is one one thing that bothered me a little bit. It was the whole scene with the Dark Woman, where the way the art's drawn, the way she's drawn, it just feels like the art shifts between like in one panel she looks like she's old woman, other panel she looks like she's fucking like in her 30s, and I'm like, oh, like I didn't even know if it was the shading or like the angles. Probably was, but it just felt a little weird to me. Certain panels she's young, certain panels she looks old, as she should be. But just a little nitpick. As for Sharad Het, I thought he was a rather charismatic individual. There's something about the dude that, like, even if you don't agree with his philosophy and how paradoxical that is, you just can't help but be drawn to the guy. Like, he's just charismatic. Like, I personally think, I know that the book says, it keeps telling you that, like, oh, I'm a fucking Jedi. I'm a fucking Jedi. I'm this and that. You're not a Jedi. Like, I mean, the way he acts, I don't think that he's truly a Jedi in most respects. I mean, he's training his son to be a Jedi, and I guess that's admirable. But I mean, the way he acts, the way like how Tatooine makes the people that live there, it turns them into cruel people that are inherently good. Like we've talked about, you guys have given in your thoughts. Like people at Tatooine are inherently good people. It's just the land turns you into cruel and unusual people. But Sharad Het, he's charismatic, but he's also just paradoxical. And I don't think that the Tusken and Jedi philosophies match. I personally don't think he acts like what I think a Jedi should be, despite what the comic keeps telling me. The one other thing that I don't think either of you mentioned, I kind of wanted to touch on, was, and one of you can actually correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think Tusken lore had really been expanded on before this comic came out. And I know this comic is mainly Kiadi's story, and it's also Sharad and his son. But we got slices of Tusken culture, like the one Tusken that Kiadi Mooney knocks down with the force display. He offers to get him back up, and the Tusken's like, "No, I can do it myself." And they explain, like, "Oh, if someone offers to help you, it means you're too weak to survive in the desert." You have the whole you can only all you need to do is hold a gaffy stick with two hands. The guy who lost his hand, he commits ritual suicide. I'll make a point, an IRL comparison in a minute with that. But just
well,
we got.
I was gonna answer your question. No, because Junior Jedi Knights reveal about Tusken history before this, and even I think Children of the Jedi went into some about it.
Okay.
But the thing is, though, Ken, is that a lot of Tusken lore is kind of like haphazard and like or contradictory, but it's not really like a real contradiction because it's like the rationalization is that they're all different tribes.
I see what you mean. Okay.
No one tribe has like the same customs or culture. There's like a broad one sometimes, but it's like something like them not showing their skin.
Yeah.
They are very revulsed by that and in these comics. But even like Lance could tell you is that in Jedi Knights, they don't really care that Tahiri or Anakin's like showing skin. So it really just varies tribe to tribe. What was taking me though about like the Tuscan culture thing is that they said that they all lived in Tuscan Canyon, which is supposedly like this one big ass canyon on Tatooine that like they all live at, like all Tuscans are from. And when I was reading that shit, that sounded like a load of bullshit because it's like across KOTOR and like other stores with Tuscans, it's like they don't all come from like one canyon.
Mm-hmm.
I was just confused by it. Like it was early lore. That's probably about the second or third major entry into like the Tuscans lore. But
Mm-hmm.
it's just like it doesn't really fit. Like and maybe it fits in like I guess the year like 32 BBY, maybe then. Because I mean it's always could be that, you know.
Yeah.
It's like time is another factor too. It's like time affects how they behave. Because in KOTOR, the northern Tuscan tribes, they're like pretty. They're not docile, but they're pretty chill. They don't really attack unless threatened. Where you have the southern Tuscan tribes where they kill on sight.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they will kill fellow Tuscans, humans. All that. Anyway, just to simply answer your question, there was an exploration of Tuscan culture before this.
Okay, gotcha. Because I was wondering. I was wondering if this was like, oh, it feels so haphazard here. And I was just wondering, like, oh, is this the first time we're getting explanations about everything? But that actually makes a lot more sense now that you explain everything. But for a few more thoughts, it was the whole the Tuscan who gets to fight the Krayt Dragon, he loses his arm, or loses his hand, forearm, whatever you want to call it, like part of his arm, his hand, like forearm, it's gone. It's fucking reduced to ashes. It's in the Krayt Dragon's gullet. He's standing there. He's gonna like probably rip his guts open, kill himself. It's very reminiscent of Japanese soldiers in World War II, and what they would just basically just kill themselves if they couldn't fight or if they were surrounded, and it's like an honor thing. And it just reminded me of that. I was like, oh, so like he's just committing ritual suicide. I thought it was just a cool little parallel, or unintentional, but like Japanese soldiers in World War II, they would do the same thing. They'd just kill themselves if they couldn't fight any longer, if they were injured or surrounded. So, and it's like, oh, he can't fight. Well, he's gonna shame his family if he is like continued like allowed to live. So he might as well just end his own life. But what other thoughts? Oh, the thing I mentioned earlier, the fucking shit that had me cracking up. It was the panel of Gardula the Hutt. You have his like subordinates like, fucking, oh my god, we don't Darth Krayt. Like, oh, Sherrod Hett, this guy is Tuscan tribe leader. He's a Jedi. Like, oh my god, like we're all gonna die. It's like he just pulls out a fucking like scatter gun, which is basically like a Star Wars version of a shotgun. On the next fucking like page or the next panel is just the dude's fucking like blood going everywhere, and he like fucking Gardula the Hutt just giving him like a look, just blows him away.
Oh yeah, Gardula blows his head off.
Yeah, just blows him away, and he's fucking dying laughing.
Badass.
Badass.
And Gardula the Hutt's just like fake news. There is no Jedi leading the Tuscans. Fake news. That was pretty funny. I did like Kiadi more in this comic. It wasn't bad in Play of the Rebellion, but he was just a little better in this one. A little minor thing there. And the Aura Singh. Aura Singh, for first appearance in a comic, I think pretty solid villain. Like, she's just a no nonsense, take no shit, just beating up people, beating up innocent Trandoshans type, like just woman. And well, she's very good at what she does. She is a killer through and through. I mean, you get the whole hints of her like backstory as a failed Padawan who lost her way, but I did think she was written well. I think the art style like suits her, like as a character. Felt it just the half the panels of her just grinning like a fucking fiend were entertaining. And just blowing away motherfuckers with her rifle. Solid villain, I'm hoping, or if we get more of her in the pre-Clone War stuff, and that should be interesting. I'm pretty interested to see where her story goes, but I did like her as a villain. So, but overall, the comic, I'd give it a solid 9 Tuscans out of 10. Like, pretty good comic.
I give it 9 Banthas out of
9
10.
Tuscan, 9 Bantha
Fucking-
shits out of 10.
9 Bantha Poodles out of 10. Hoo, 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 hoo.
Also, I don't know if you noticed this, but like fucking Aura Singh, like looks like she fucking like does not skip like deadlift day. A girl, she built.
Yes, dude, save it for the Patreon exclusive video, dude. Save it for the
For
Patreon.
the Patreon exclusively. I'm just making an observation. Like,
Ugh.
no need to get fiendish. I feel like I will
Well-
say I feel like Sherrod. One more thing before we just close out. I will say I think if Sherrod had still been alive during the Clone Wars, I think he would have been one of the Jedi Order's best tacticians.
Probably.
I mean, like, yeah, he's leading a group of Tuskens. They don't really. He thinks things out, but like he's put in a position where he's leading like primitive like tribesmen. But I mean, actually being given command of an army and like his charisma, I just personally think he'd be an excellent general. But those are my thoughts.
Well, so I think we all pretty much kind of agree that the story was pretty good. Not perfect, but pretty good. So, I guess that's all we've got. Do you guys want to add anything?
Nah.
Nope, I've said what I've said. I got no more.
Well, on that note, it looks like I'm gonna go ahead and end the video. So, the next episode will be on Emissaries to Malastare, which at the time of this recording, I pretty much read like 90% of it. I have like a couple of pages left that I need to finish, and then I'll be done with it. So, these two goons, so they got to start it.
Yep.
So, but I mean, I was kind of we were just kind of jerking each other off in class. So I was just so I just decided to just read the comic, and I got most of it read during class, so it was pretty cool. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and may the force be with you. Also, sorry for taking forever to do this episode. School starting up for me and Tidus kind of limited our time, and I just had a lot of personal stuff going on. But we're back, and we're gonna get these reviews pumped out. I'm hoping Sundays I can have them pumped out because I'll be out of work and school, of course, on those days. So we'll see what happens. But that is kind of the goal for now. But we'll see what happens. But anyway, thank you guys very much for watching. Y'all have a good one, and may the force be with you.